Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Stramondo, and I am an assistant professor of philosophy here at San Diego State University. And I just wanted to say a couple words about ableism in higher education. Um, I think that there's a variety of ways that structural ableism can definitely make things really difficult for people. Um, just obvious examples through my life that come to mind immediately had to do with being an undergrad, especially, where I went to a very old private college that had lots and lots of stairs. And so, what was odd about this is that the dean of students was the person charged with dealing with disability accommodations, had an office that was up 2 flights of stairs. So it was that kind of irony, right? And it wasn't just the dean of students. Most of my professors were in a building that had stairs, and so I very rarely saw the inside of any of my professors' offices. And so it was that kind of thing that just sort of meant that there wasn't really an equal playing field. There was a lot more that I had to do than your average person attending school, because I had to sort of think things through and put all of the effort into figuring out, okay, well, I can't drop into my professor's office hours like most people, and so what am I going to do? I have to figure out a way to schedule a meeting with them and explain that I can't get to their office, and so on and so forth. And so that's just sort of an added task when you're already very busy in school. Sort of having that extra layer of work is something that puts you at a disadvantage, and that's a very real disadvantage. Just briefly in closing, I want to say, even in places where they have a really well organized effort for making accommodations for disabled students, a lot of times, unfortunately, the orientation toward those accommodations can be one of just sort of trying to avoid lawsuits, trying to avoid litigation, doing the bare minimum that's required by the law, instead of seeing an accommodation as something that you need to do in order to help this student have equality and flourish. Unfortunately, a lot of times accommodations are seen as, well, what can we do to make sure that this student doesn't, bring an ADA lawsuit against us? And so the problem with that orientation is that it ends up being sort of almost like an adversarial relationship from the get-go. And that's really difficult for a student who's trying to go to school and just wants to be able to get their degree, to have to fight every step of the way to get what they need in order to thrive. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. Like, I've experienced some of that myself. I've seen it with some of my own students. And so, I just think that it's important that faculty and staff that have been through this sort of recognize that it's a thing. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Thanks.